You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, residents in West Grants, Bahama expressing concerns about their community. Historic school board elections held at the Holmes Rock Primary School. And former Prime Minister Ingram wrapping up a 2-day book tour on Grants, Bahama. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for tuning in. Residents of the West End community coming together last night in a town meeting to map out strategies to make that community even better, spearheaded by the West Grants Bahama Local Government Township. Those in attendance had an opportunity to hear from a panel of speakers from various government agencies, express their concerns, and have their questions answered. Representatives from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Department of Environmental Health, the Ministry of Agriculture, and others making up a panel at a town hall meeting in West Grants, Bahama. Residents had an opportunity to voice their concerns. This resident addressing the state of law enforcement in the Western Settlement.
Guys come in with their boats. How big is this? Nobody checking. And nobody's saying nothing. And so they do what they feel like because of the fact that nobody could tell them nothing. That is one thing that needs to be done here in West End, and I believe local government could help with that situation by having a meeting with the central government and trying to get that force.
My brother, if there is a problem with persons bringing undersized conch in, don't wait for the fisheries officer. Please call West End Police Station. If there's a problem with illegal dumping, do not wait for the garbage collector or the environmental health. Please call the police department. We're here to enforce not just persons who are stealing or behaving bad. We're here to enforce all laws. We're not here to sit down in the station. I know you would have seen us moving in and out the community. We've done our walkabouts. We've seen some ills, and we are fixing those.
Another resident expressing concerns about the state of hurricane shelters, as well as mosquito and rodent infestation in the area.
There's always been a problem with these shelters. There aren't adequate bathroom facilities, so number one. And people have been putting feces all over the floors and stuff. And then secondly, you go to one shelter, then they're going to want to evacuate 4 o'clock in the morning to another shelter, because it's unsafe. They find it shaking, the defense force and all that. They need to make sure that they're safe and able to say accommodate the amount of people there, especially for bathroom facilities. These conch shell on the bay, they harbor plenty of rats. The conch shell is always the problem, because you clean them today, this is a fishing community, conch shell coming back. So you got to come up with some kind of program whereby these conch shell have to be placed someplace or used for something. We just can't stay and keep on saying we move them and then the people put them back. This is a fishing community. The people then bringing in conchs. The mosquito and the rodents, after every storm, is unbelievable.
Prior to rainy season, we will do a program where we come and we do an assessment of the property to identify the index, mosquito index for that particular area. And West End is one of those communities in which we count how many buckets and other containers that are on property that will facilitate mosquito breeding. And we would advise the residents of those property at time to make sure clean their properties up. And then the next phase of our project is then to once the rainy season start, is that to bring in, and we have arbate and other insecticides that is placed along the side of the road where you have water accumulation to inhibit the breeding of mosquitoes.
Then there were inquiries regarding opportunities in the agriculture industry.
How can we encourage or find ways to bring other children to like the same field of agriculture?
Being a young entrepreneur with the in terms of agriculture, you can get yourself a business license
and you can then apply to the government when we have grants, when we have scholarships, when we have initiatives going on, because the government's job is to basically keep the community working, keep funds flowing through the community. But if you don't have a license, you're not vendor verified, the government doesn't know about you. So the first step would be to get yourself a business license to say that you can be vendor verified with the government so that you can do work with us.
Now, while there, residents were also encouraged by Chief Counselor for West Grants, Bahama, George Jimmy Smith, to ensure that they are well prepared ahead of the upcoming hurricane season. Also from West Grants, Bahama tonight, historic school board elections taking place today at Holmes Rock Primary School. Today's election paves the way for the school to have a board for the first time in its history, and the elections are historic on another level, as the Holmes Rock Primary is the only school on Grants, Bahama having elections today. Principal Jasmine Hepburn stating that while turnout was a bit slow, she's still grateful for those who came out.
We have 6 candidates who are vying for 3 seats, and so today it is history in the making, as Holmes Rock Primary is going to have, at the end of these elections, a school board for the very first time. Today is going very slow. I think we may have had 21 voters so far, and of course the polls opened at 8. Those persons who are able to vote would be parents who registered their children and guardians. So even if you're a parent and you are not a part of the list of a registered parent or guardian, you would not be able to vote.
Principal Hepburn says the Western District is moving forward, adding that the other schools receive the exact number of nominees needed for their board or would need to have members appointed.
We are moving forward in the western end of the island. Well, West End Primary, all other schools, they have already had their nominations and they have nominated the right amount of persons to fill their candidacies. So we're here, and let's see who's going to be the lucky 3.
Now, school board elections were also held over on the island of Abaco. District Superintendent for Abaco and the Keys, Dominique Russell, giving this update.
We have 6 schools that have school boards. We only have 1 of the schools had a contested election, and that was at Moores Island, all age. We needed 3 school board members, and 4 persons were nominated. And so right now, parents are trickling in and voting, but it's going quite well. We expect that the count will be, quick, because there are not a lot of parents at Moores Island all age. In fact, we have, I think, a little over 130 students. And so, our expectations is that by the end of the day, we will have those results in.
In other news, it has been a busy 2 days on Grants, Bahama for former Prime Minister turned author, the Right Honorable Hewitt Ingram. The 3-time Prime Minister taking part in a number of events on Grants, Bahama as he officially launched his first book, I Say What I Mean and I Mean What I Say. The official ceremony taking place last night at the Grand Lucine Resort. Jay Philippe has the story.
Former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hewitt Ingram, took part in a series of events on Grand Bahama as part of his book launch. However, the official book launch signing took place at the Grand Lucine Hotel, where many residents from Grand Bahama was in attendance.
Over 200 invited guests gathered in the ballroom at the Grand Lucine Resort property for the book signing. The former 3-term Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hewitt Ingram, reflected on his journey in public office. Ingram also taken the time to highlight the significance of his visit to Grand Bahama for the book launch.
Freeport and Grand Bahama are always special to me. Apart from being the land of my birth, you're also the island that back in 1990 set me on a solid path to become Prime Minister of our country. An accomplishment too grand, too big for me to even dream about as a boy.
The Right Honorable Hubert Ingram sharing how the book came about and why he decided to release the book at this time. Ingram says that Grand Bahama holds a special place in his heart, while noting that he is pleased with the transformation of Freeport from the 1990s to now.
We don't always harvest all that we plant and nurture. The city of Freeport being a prime example, established to become an industrial center. It has taken many years for that goal to be realized. But bit by bit, that reality is coming about from your early beginnings, from the massive hotel and condo constructions, the oil bunkering, the cement production, pharmaceutical manufacture, to the more recent hotel construction like the one next door, container transshipment, mining, ship care and repair is happening.
The former North Abaco Member of Parliament, who was Prime Minister of the Bahamas from August 1992 to May 2002, and again from May 2007 to May 2012, thanking those who assembled for the official ceremony.
None of this would have been possible without the love and support of Dolores and my children and grandchildren. They all know the depth of my affection. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to close with a note to the current and future generations. Perhaps it is the perennial preoccupation or obligation of older generations such as mine to be concerned about and pontificate about the future. And so I record that I continue to be concerned that too few in our upcoming generations have a deep understanding and appreciation of our history, our cultural roots, our civics, and our political and civic traditions.
After the ceremony was completed, the former Prime Minister took the opportunity to greet many of his longtime friends and supporters who were in attendance. Now the book is available for purchase at a number of bookstores locally. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
The former Prime Minister making a courtesy call to the Ministry of Grants Bahama this morning to present the Honorable Ginger Moxie with an autographed copy of his book. Ingram advising that current Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, purchased 60 copies of the book for members of his government, but Ingram says he wanted to personally deliver a copy to the Minister of Grants Bahama. Following that presentation, the Honorable Ginger Moxie shared a framed photo taken some years ago with herself alongside former Prime Ministers Perry Christie and Hubert Ingram.
I thought it was appropriate to come and see you,
yes.
To see how you're doing. You know, the Ministry of Grand Bahama was a thought that we had. We haven't perfected it yet. There's still many things to do to make sure the coordination gets going, etc.
Yes.
But you are the right person for the job, I'm told.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so
Thank you, sir.
I wish you every success. I hope to be able to help to inspire some of the students with my own personal life story.
Yes.
So they can see that you can come from the very bottom of the society and rise to become the head of government of the Bahamas.
Yes.
And so I hope to be able to tell them my story.
I actually have I have a copy already.
Yeah.
I started to read it, but I'm so delighted that now I have my autographed copy from the Right Honorable former Prime Minister. Thank you again for being here.
The former Prime Minister's final stop on his book tour was the Jack Hayward High School. There, 11th and 12th grade students from schools throughout the district had the privilege of hearing words of wisdom from the nation's second Prime Minister during a special ceremony in the school's gymnasium. Romiko Knowles was there.
Well, students from various schools on Grand Bahama gathering at the Jack Hayward Gymnasium to welcome the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram, as he continues the tour for the launch of his new book entitled I Say What I Mean and I Mean What I Say. Once the former Prime Minister made his entrance into the school's gymnasium, the ceremony began with the principal of Jack Hayward Senior High School, Bronwyn Smith, giving the welcome address.
Former Prime Minister, your presence with us is an honor, and we look forward to being inspired by your words. Your vision to meet and address the future leaders of the Bahamas is very much appreciated. Students, it is heartwarming to see all of you from across the beautiful island of Grand Bahama as you represent all of the schools here.
Quoting the former Prime Minister Ingram, associate editor of the book, Patricia Glinton-Miokalis, admonishing students to always see themselves as leaders.
Leadership comes with a price. You have to prepare yourself. I've had schooling aplenty. Your teachers have had schooling aplenty. But the thing is, I'll bet each one of us keeps learning. Every day is a learning experience.
The nation's second prime minister giving students an account of his upbringing, hoping that they too will know and understand that if he can come from humble beginnings and become the nation's leader, they can as well.
As I believe that my life is an example for you to look at and take many lessons from it and be inspired by it. I see all of you here this morning nicely dressed. I didn't have that good fortune. I didn't have the good fortune to go to school with shoes on my feet for many years. And so I hope that when you complete your high school and go to college or go to work, etc., you can look back and say, well, if Hubert Ingram could do that, so can I.
Students say the words of former Prime Minister Ingram were inspiring.
I thought it was very good. I thought it was very impacting. I learned a lot from what the former Prime Minister had to say. His words, how he worded it, it was clear to me. He had a background that was amazing, that how he turned out. I must say, I plan to be a future leader, so I'm going to use him as an example.
It was very enlightening. I definitely enjoyed it. It was entertaining for the most part.
Well, when he said that he used to go to school with barefoot, I really couldn't believe it, but it really shows me how privileged we are today as a society.
I feel as if his speech was very informative, and I really learned something about him, because in school I used to hear his name, but I never really know much about him, so I really learned something.
I thought that it was very inspiring because he came from a poor lifestyle to a very, I want to say, decent. And he showed that you can do anything once you have God. It came from a generation who didn't have as much as we had, so that was inspiring to see that he didn't have as much technology as we have today, so it made me feel like I could do anything I want to. What stood out for me was when he talked about how he was able to grow from just being a clerk at BTC or Patelco to becoming the Prime Minister. I was like, oh wow, that's amazing.
Now the book will be placed in the school's library for students to read. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
St. George's High School is the only secondary school on Grand Bahama with a performing arts department. Which year was the performing arts department formed? Season 1 of Grand Bahama Facts is sponsored by the Ministry for Grand Bahama.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
Celebrate Mom this Mother's Day at any of the 2 fabulous restaurants for brunch at the Grand Lacayan Hotel, Churchill's or Portobello's. Ticket box office is at Lighthouse Point lobby.
As parents, we may forget that our little ones are always watching us. And while you may think some things go unnoticed, they don't. No matter how big or small, there's no excuse to throw trash out of your car window. Remember, no one likes a litter bug. So let's keep Grand Bahama clean by setting the right examples for our children. It's everyone's business and everyone's responsibility to keep Grand Bahama clean. Our lifestyles, our economy, and our future depend on it.
It's the afternoon beat.
8:10 a.m. Afternoon Beat with Zion.
Join me Monday to Friday
from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 810 a.m. It's the Afternoon Beat with Zion.
They try to push rich on me, they want to push rich on me. They don't care in front of company.
The King of the North is back. Howard 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. It was Career Day today at Tabernacle Baptist Academy. Primary school students reporting to classes smartly dressed, depicting their future career. As for the school, it was a good opportunity to gauge career interest among the youngsters. As your Quant reports.
We all had that moment as a child, dreaming of what we wanted to be when we grow up. Mine, a reporter. Well, that's what's happening here at Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy, Career Day for the preschoolers. Not the typical dress-up day for the students as they showcase what they want to be when they grow up. Doctors, police officers, pilots, a chef, and even an astronaut being showcased. Dorcas Vega, vice principal of the pre and primary school, says the youngsters would remember this day for years to come.
I know for a fact that my daughter, for example, she always wanted to be in the medical field, and it started from an early age. So I went to our principal and I told her about the career day, and I think that once you get them from the early stage, I believe it will continue out through their adult life. It is known that it is best to, anything that you want the kids to remember before they reach the age of 8 is the right age to make sure that you instill it in them very early.
As for preschooler Israel Woodside, she says she chose her profession because of the persons behind the uniform. What are you today?
A police officer.
And why did you choose to be a police officer?
Because it's my favorite thing.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force putting on a canine demonstration for the kids, showcasing the importance of dog assistance in their day-to-day duties.
What we're doing here today is actually consistent with the Commissioner of Police policing plan for 2022. Priority number 9, which speaks to youth engagement. This is something that is very important to the Commissioner. These are the next leaders, okay? This is the next generation who are going to be your next police officers, your next defense force officers, teachers, pastors, so on. So it's very important that we educate them while they're young. We want to create a positive impression on them.
Speaking to the issue of gang violence in the country, Sergeant Cleveland Dames says it is important to educate students about the danger involved.
So it's important now that we spread a positive message to the students, educating them in reference to the dangers of being involved in gangs at an early age, because little students, primary school students, and you go right up the line, they're involved in gangs. So it's important for us now to educate them so that they can stay away from those nefarious activities.
Vice Principal Vega says that this is not going to be the last career day, as they intend on doing one for the primary school. I'm Azure Quant, ZNS Network News.
Your Friday evening sports report is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports Day 4 of competition at the Fidelity Bank Track and Field Island Sports Championships. It was a little bit of rain, but the races still went on. The distance races were straight finals. In the junior boys 1500 meters, Aiden Bain ran away with this one, earning a first place finish for the Falcons.
My strategy was to use the nose breathing technique that my coach Celia Dubé taught me. And I say thank you to her and thank you to God for giving me this opportunity to come out here and perform for my school.
Easily winning the under 17 girls 1500 meters was Carifta team member Erin Barr.
Going to the race, I know I wanted to put on a show. I know I wanted to come first, obviously, trying to put down my time, trusting in God, relying on my coach's teachings, and staying focused. I was focusing on time. No, I wasn't focusing on no faces. My coach told me no faces, just time.
St. Paul's Methodist School has been racking up some points altogether, and they added more points to their overall total by winning the under 17 boys 1500 meters thanks to a gutsy run by Livingston Duncombe.
My original strategy was to stay behind the leaders and let them burn themselves out, and then pass them coming to the end, and it worked. It felt tiring, painful, but I knew I had to push through it to do good.
Watch out for Akia Lightburn in a class of her own as she takes the under 20 girls 1,500 meters.
My strategy is on the race, and I just plan smooth and just run. I feel like I gotta do better, but I try to do my best.
Now on Saturday is the finals for more events beginning at 10 a.m. and the relays will run on Monday, May 2nd at 4 p.m. Switching gears now in basketball over on the island of Abaco. Here are some scores from the Abaco Basketball Association. In the under-16 boys game, High Flying Ballers defeated Cooperstown Ballers 23-14, led by Barry Laureus with 9 points. In the men's division, Showtime Ballers defeated CI Crew 50-48. Chauncey Cooper was your high point man with 21 points. The final game saw the Crusaders getting by the Net Rippers 56-50. Godfrey Rowe was the player of the game with 31 points. And that's a quick check on sports reporting from the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. I'm Jay Philippe. Have a great weekend.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
One station giving you 3 different shows.
It's Power 104's new weekday lineup. Join me for late mornings with 6 from 9 to 11. Plus, we have something new for you.
It's your boy 3D, Mr. GB on Power 104.5 FM. Join me on the drive time from 4 to 6, giving you all the latest hits from the past to the
future. You know what it is. It's that DJ that plays the music that you love, DJ Future, letting you know to join me on 104.5 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday, all right? But it's not just all about me. I got my colleagues along with me right here at 104.5 FM.
Which year was the Performing Arts Department formed? If you guessed 2014, you are correct. Season 1 of Grand Bahama Facts is sponsored by the Ministry for Grand Bahama.
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Our Facebook friend of the day is Lexi Millie. We thank you for your continued support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Jamila Missick, wishing you a safe weekend. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Daniel, he is one of the exiles from Judah. He pays no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you have put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day.
What sort of foolishness is this? Daniel's my chief advisor.
No one is above the law. Yes, sadly, O king, no one is above the law.
the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, the Prime Minister and former world leaders meet. A fatter paycheck for Atlantis workers, a move to pump the brakes on higher gas prices, and Aiden's sons move on. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopindo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Climate change isn't in the future for the Caribbean. It's now. That's the message Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, drove home in his address to the 14th Caribbean Renewable Energy Forum in Miami, Florida. During Thursday's keynote fireside chat, Prime Minister Davis encouraged participants to be agents for change. He detailed the legislation before Parliament to compensate the Bahamas for the significant role it plays as a carbon sink, noting that with conservation and restoration, the seagrass and mangroves can continue to play a critical role in removing carbon from the atmosphere. He also pointed to the Bahamas being pegged the first country to sell blue carbon credits, with the hope of regional neighbors will follow suit. The event brings together policymakers, regulators, and investors with one goal in mind: to address how to get energy transition over the finish line. The forum ended on Thursday. Well, the Prime Minister was back on home soil not long after that forum in Florida to meet former United States President Bill Clinton and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair ahead of their address to the Crypto Bahamas Conference at the Bahama Resort yesterday afternoon. Prime Minister Davis, along with Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper, were also joined by FTX Chief Executive Officer Samuel Bankman-Fried and former NBA player Rick Fox. The Crypto Bahamas Conference officially ended today. The local economy continuing to show strong signs of recovery, with the World Bank forecasting positive growth in the months ahead. Fern Carey has more from the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing.
The World Bank projecting that the Bahamian economy will expand by some 8% this year, up from the 6% previously projected over the same period. Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Halkiders, indicated Friday that the international organization also forecasts the domestic economy will grow by just over 4% next year. He learned this figure from his recent trip to the World Bank Group International Monetary Fund's spring meetings.
We are at $1.8 billion, which is 78% of the target. So if we think that by June we want to get 100% of our target, at the end of March we were at 78%. So we're slightly ahead. You should be at 3/4 of the way. You should be 3/4 of your target. So it should be 75. We're at 78. Just to give some comparison. So it's we're trending ahead in terms of revenue. In terms of expenditure, we're slightly down from our target, 3% down. And in terms of the deficit, it's currently showing just under $345 million for the first 9 months, and we had forecasted 850 for the entire year, so we're ahead of schedule.
With consumers feeling the pinch at the pumps and amid mounting speculation that gas prices will rise to $7 a gallon soon, the Economic Affairs Minister confirms talks are ongoing with stakeholders in the sector.
They're at about 6-something right now. I wouldn't, of course, anything can happen. The conflict can spread, or we can see it actually go down.
Now, there has been calls from some quarters for the government to remove the VAT on bread basket items. However, officials say that is not feasible at this time.
The best policy is to have a low rate with minimal exemptions, which is what we did, and it was very effective, lauded around the world as being effective. The F&M administration came in 2018, and they said they made a promise that they would take it off of bread basket items, which they did. But at the same time that they took it off of bread basket items, in order to be able to do that, they raised the rate from 7.5% to 12%. But recognize that when you begin to introduce exemptions, the only way you can do it is if you pay a higher rate on everything else. And so we've studied this, we've gone back and forth. Our best advice is a lower rate, hence the 10%, lower than the 12, but with minimal exemptions because it's more efficient.
Minister Halkida says the Price Control Commission is closely monitoring prices on goods and services in the country. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
In related news, the Bahamas' Food and Agriculture Organization's permanent representative, Winston Pinnock, lobbying for the country to host its 2026 conference. He pitched the suggestion during the FAO's 169th session in Rome, Italy, earlier this month. During a meeting with the FAO's Director General and 7 cabinet members, Pinnock highlighted the challenges impacting the country's agricultural and fisheries sector. He also pledged more financial support and recommended a permanent FAO office here in the Bahamas. Well, Tourism, Investments and Aviation Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, leading a delegation of tourism executives to the Sea Trade Conference, one of the world's biggest annual cruise conferences. The senior tourism officials will garner support for Bahamian entrepreneurs like craft vendors, increase disembarkation of passengers and crew in the capital in order to increase visitor spend, as well as secure new Bahamian tours for cruise passengers to visit historic sites and facilities. The Bahamas' showcase will include Invest Grand Bahama, the Grand Bahama Port Authority's investment arm, prompting discussions on expanding the number of cruise ships calling on that island. Spearheaded by the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, this year's meeting, held under the theme Resilience, features some 500 exhibitors and over 100 countries. Well, it's head of agreement, opportunities, environment commitment and plans as it moves forward, Joey Gaskin's talking points during his presentation on Disney's Lighthouse Point development in South Eleuthera during that island's business outlook on Thursday. Disney has committed up to $400 million in investments.
One of the most expensive things about this development is not what we're doing on land, but because we are not dredging in the water. Building environmentally sustainable, environmentally responsible infrastructure is not cheap. And so what you'll see is the largest chunk of investment is about ensuring that we're not destroying the environment, that we are enhancing it, that we are protecting it. We are donating 190 acres plus the 2.5 acres at the southernmost point of Lighthouse Point to the government of the Bahamas. That is Bahamian owned, all right? The design is going to be rooted in the stories and culture of the Bahamas. We promised 120 construction jobs. We're exceeding that now, and I'll talk a little bit about that later, with an overall ratio of 80% Bahamians over the life of the construction. We are promising at least 150 operation jobs, and those are jobs from senior management all the way up and throughout the length and breadth of our organization.
Gaskin's adding that Disney has asked for no extra concessions. 25% of Disney's cruises have at least one stop in the Bahamas. That translates into the company contributing $70 million annually to the country's GDP. Further, as Gaskins pointed out, it has and continues to fund a number of local programs. Atlantis Paradise Island resort team members got a salary increase this week, and that applies to both union and non-union employees. President and Managing Director Audrey Oswald telling us the decision was made with no industrial agreement in place.
Well, Atlantis actually announced that several months ago, and it's, not something that we normally make public. It's something that we talked to our team members about, but we announced it, I want to say it was about 2 or 3 months ago. The increases range anywhere from 0 to 5%, depending on your performance appraisal.
The salary hike also comes as government plans to replace minimum wage with a livable wage.
Our union employees have been working without an active collective bargaining agreement for quite some time now, and we made the decision that it is taking so long to enter into a new agreement with the union for a lot of different reasons, that we were going to give our union team members their across-the-board increase also.
Still to come, more police officers needed, and COVID impacts school attendance. We'll be back after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give into. A juicy piece of KFC to feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
The test phase for Marco's alert began today, and according to police, the exercise will continue for 2 weeks, with each alert indicating that a test is in progress. The alert system for missing children was established following the murder of 11-year-old Marco Archer back in 2011. It allows residents to access information via phone, television, billboards, etc. Both telephone service providers, BTC and Alive, have partnered with the government in this venture. Well, with violent crime at a high, law enforcement officials need all the help they can get to curb crime. Joining in the fight, Urban Renewal, which has been tasked with saving the lives of young men and women.
We have a number of young men coming from right in our communities who went to take the police exam and have failed. A number of them, and they really want to serve their country. We can't leave these young men alone to get into the hands of these criminals.
Well, Acting Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez says Urban Renewal will in turn hand over to the head of the police college the names of all those who have failed the RBPF entrance examination, but yet are still interested in joining the force.
I will also ask them to cross-check with our other agencies, the Defense Force, and even the prison, so that we could identify them in the various communities, identify them, and we will assist them in extra classes right in their own community as we partnership with the churches in those areas to use their facilities and identify some teachers who is right in their communities and some of the instructors from the college, the police college and other areas to assist them in their studies to get to that level and to be able to take the exams again.
An early start for more than 100 Haitian nationals who this morning boarded a Bahamas Air charter for a return flight home. The group comprised 95 men, 18 women, and 5 children. The Department of Immigration's deportation unit led the escort. Officials assure all COVID-19 protocols were strictly enforced. For more than 50 years, the Providing Access to Continued Education, or PACE program, has been a pillar for teen mothers. Today, officials are saying thank you to the organization's founder. Here's Antoinette Smith.
Unveiled early Friday, a tribute to the pioneer who started it all.
I personally think Mrs. Archer is a hero.
The East Street-based PACE headquarters, now renamed the Andrea E. Archer Institute, a nod to the woman who worked in helping young expectant mothers meander through society.
The success of the girls professionally bore witness to their capabilities once given a second chance to be respected, in addition to being productive citizens who are capable of supporting their offspring.
Her work dating way back to 1969, the program growing from a student-mother clinic to a continued education program, and now to the institute it is known as today. Acknowledging the hurdles Archer faced in establishing the visionary work, Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, described Archer as a trailblazer.
You had to fight against the pricks, the status quo, and you went there to bat for girls who were not headliners in our country. And you told all of us that their lives mattered and that they had a future that was waiting for them.
Similar sentiments shared by wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis.
Mrs. Archer, you have established yourself as a friend of women and underprivileged girls. Your tireless efforts on behalf of those less fortunate are the qualities which will endear us all to you today and always.
Also a big day for the Andrea E. Archer Institute in more ways than one. After years at its East Street headquarters, officials have finally paid off their mortgage, a signal of more good things to come in the next few months. Antoinette Smith, ZNS Network News.
While education officials await for the go-ahead to approve face-to-face learning in public schools, Chief School Attendance Officer Angelo Strawn says the delay continues to impact attendance as truancy remains a challenge.
During the heart of the pandemic, we discovered that some 30% of our students were not attending virtual classes. We are still in the process of trying to resolve that problem. We don't have virtual school right now. However, we're still in hybrid mode. So some children come to school 3 days a week and some 2 days a week. That is causing a problem in that a lot of students are still not completing assignments when they're on those days home from school.
Strawn's appealing for parental support by not allowing children to roam the streets. Still, he's optimistic things will get better.
I believe that come September, we should be face-to-face. The level of COVID infections have gone down considerably. A lot more people are adhering to getting the vaccines and whatnot. So I think we will be getting back on track come September of this year. It's not going to be an easy road, of course, because children have been, the entire educational system has been disrupted by something unexpected. And so a lot of changes, I'm sure, are going to take place.
Thousands of students looking forward to graduating from college and or university after 4 years of intense studies. In this week's edition of Student of the Week, Where Are They Now?, LaDawn Davis shares the story of one of those students set to obtain a degree in mathematics.
I've been attending the University of the Bahamas, obtaining my Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics.
4 years ago, straight-A student Leandra Moonsami was gearing up to leave the halls of the Temple Christian High School. And in a few short weeks, she will close yet another chapter in her academic studies at the University of the Bahamas. Leandra, who initially had her eyes set on studying medicine, gave these reasons why her career path changed in the blink of an eye.
So I realized that I had to pursue my passion, and I realized that mathematics was something that I loved and I could do every day. So instead of pursuing medicine, I thought that mathematics could be more advantageous to me.
The once visibly shy, now eloquent math major credits her involvement in several extracurricular activities on the school's campus for her leadership and student development.
I'm currently the senator of the School of Mathematics, Physics, and Technology, so I organize a lot of events for the students, and during that time, we've gotten a lot of experiences. In fact, I also took a trip in January to Dubai, where I went to the World Expo. So I traveled with the UB group, and we were over there for a week. We went to the World Expo, where we saw numerous pavilions, including the Bahamas Pavilion of the sort. We also viewed the city of Abu Dhabi and Dubai, went to numerous buildings.
But wait, there's more. Leandra doesn't plan to stop pursuing further academic studies anytime soon. In fact, she plans to take it all the way to the next level.
I plan to further my studies abroad to obtain a master's degree to do data science or artificial intelligence.
Why?
Well, I don't prefer to teach, so I would like to use my math skills like in businesses to help them make better decisions, or artificial intelligence, AI, is something that's currently growing right now in the tech industry, so I feel like that would be very useful.
Leandra will graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics on May 26th with distinction. LaDawn Davis with the Student of the Week, Where Are They Now?
And remember to tune into news updates starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition at 6:30 p.m., all right here on the ZNS News Network.
To think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Time to save with a new perspective, where the focus is on values and principles, and people are just as important as profit, where we believe in democracy and equality, and your vote accounts, where profits are shared with our members, who are also our owners, to ensure that by working together, we all win, where education of our members and training our staff are one of our highest priorities, where we serve our members' needs through continued cooperative initiatives because of our concern for the communities in which we live. Join more than 40,000 Bahamians who have made the smarter choice. Join the movement. Join a credit union. People helping people to help themselves.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
Take a culinary tour around the world while staying here in the Bahamas with Showman E-Bistro. The restaurant menu is an assortment of delectable cuisine from around the world, tasty cocktails, and different theme nights during the week. Ray Morrison tells us more.
We also have an eclectic mix of food offerings. Our claim to fame here at Showman is that we will take you on a culinary trip around the world. Gute le monde is a Latin phrase that means literally taste the world. And so here you can have cuisines from Africa, you can have cuisines from Asia and the like. And so you're never disappointed, you're never surprised when you come through the door. 5 different cuisines are represented.
Showman E-Bistro is the perfect place for any occasion, from date night to a family outing.
Well, the atmosphere here is fun. It's a great atmosphere for a date night. If you're looking for a family-oriented event, whether it's a birthday celebration, those are the sorts of events that we have oftentimes customers coming in for to enjoy. But as you can see, it's very ambient. All of the COVID protocols are observed, but a fun atmosphere to come in every time you come here. The service is impeccable. Our staff are warm and friendly and engaging, and so you can expect that each and every time you come through the doors.
For more information, visit showmanebistro.com. I'm Lauren Seymour, and this is Tourism Today.
Nearly 40 years ago, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, dubbed April 18th World Heritage Day. And this year, with the threat of a number of external factors, including climate change, officials are keeping a keener eye on preserving our cultural sites. Here's Antoine Smith.
It's a celebration of our past, the monuments which commemorate it, and the historical sites which still stand. No site more fitting than Clifton Heritage National Park to celebrate National Heritage Day.
The United Nations commemorated World Heritage Day to raise awareness of the need of preserving human heritage and to acknowledge the accomplishments of organizations trying to do so. Clifton Heritage National Park is one such organization and is to be commended.
The theme of this year's World Heritage Day, Heritage and Climate, are critical aspects as cultural and heritage sites like this face a direct threat of climate change.
As you know, a few degrees Celsius in the climatological change of our temperature in the world could mean the wipeout of beaches and islands here in the Bahamas. That's just 3 degrees centigrade that they believe. For us here at Clifton and in the Bahamas generally, that could mean the elimination of beaches, islands, keys, and at the same time, our cultural heritage.
A rational fear for many cultural preservationists who are racing against time to protect a history that goes many generations back. Clifton, once home to the Lucayans, the Loyalists, and African slaves, among many sites of focus.
The hope is for all of our monuments and sites, not only here in the Bahamas but worldwide, are fully integrated into climate action and strategies, both as a shared global asset that means that not only us here in the Bahamas appreciate it, but worldwide people appreciate it as well, but be a part of safeguarding us through that climate change and making this a focus to make sure that climate change does not eliminate all of our resources.
To learn more about preserving historical sites and climate change action, you can log on to UNESCO.org. Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, the Bahamas National Trust, one of 8 Caribbean conservation charities, getting a boost from a leading bank. The Royal Bank of Canada has not only parted with a $4,000 donation, but has introduced what's called green energy financing to support businesses interested in purchasing and installing renewable energy systems. RBC's head of Caribbean banking, Chris Ronald, reasons that tackling climate change involves everyone. He acknowledges, though, that while getting the transition right will not be easy, there must be thoughtful action moving forward. RBC's commitment to environmental sustainability has also seen the bank launch an internal campaign aimed at helping employees learn, act, share, and build conservation consciousness. The program allows employees to engage in different activities that build environmental awareness with a chance to earn community rewards that in turn be donated to an eligible charity of their choice. Well, they're an endangered species, but also a charm for thousands of visitors to our islands and keys. However, a new report shedding light on the diet of the Bahamian rock iguana. Desmond Saunders has the story in tonight's Nature's Watch environmental feature.
The health and nutrition of some iguanas in Exuma may be at risk. International researchers warned in an online report that tourists feeding grapes to rock iguanas on remote islands in the Bahamas have given them a sweet tooth and high blood sugar, and many fear that these unnatural sugar highs could lead to diabetes. Executive Director of the Bahamas National Trust, Eric Carey, responding to this report.
I think the operators thought they were doing something good by moving away from dog food and going to grapes, but we're finding that that is just as bad based on the research because of the high sugar content of grapes. It is causing serious problems for the iguanas, and I don't know if it's diabetes, but it's certainly the equivalent of what would be exhibited in human beings, where you cannot any longer regulate naturally your blood sugars.
The research listed on several online media outlets says that the northern Bahamian rock iguanas living on the Exuma Islands are so hooked on the tasty grapes that they rush to the beaches when they hear boats approaching. The report notes that researchers are continuing to explore the impact of these sugary packed diets on the iguanas' bodies, as their diet is primarily plant-based. Carey now calling for further research and oversight.
And you can go and do an assessment of the chemicals in certain plants on the islands, and chemicals that are in wild dilly, etc., or portulaca, or whatever's on those islands, or cacti, and you may be able to come up with some type of leafy vegetable that should be organically grown, etc., that would give the animals the best chance of having a natural existence.
The Exuma Island rock iguana is native to 8 of the islands around Staniel Key and the Great Exuma Keys. They're also an endangered species of reptiles that attracts tourists from around the world. Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
He's potentially among the most influential Bahamians in the art world, and now he's been named a Rosewood Pacemaker Award recipient. Here's Jiminita Swain with this week's edition of Catching the Feeling.
A night of celebration at Barmar's current art gallery, who, as its executive director, John Cox, has been named Rosewood Placemaker recipient. Attendees took in the variety of artworks on display. Also on hand, the resort's president, Graham Davis, who let us in on what the international recognition is all about.
Makers experience that we have here is a Rosewood Hotels and Resorts initiative, and it truly is an embodiment of the commitment that Rosewood Hotels and Resorts has to art and culture. And this is the inaugural placemaker for Rosewood Bahamar. And the inaugural placemaker is John Cox.
Dave is lauding Cox as a phenomenal artist who is acclaimed within the arts community.
Has a tremendous wealth of history here in the Bahamas for art and culture, with his experience as an artist, his experience as the chief curator for the National Gallery, as a professor and teacher at University of the Bahamas, and as our executive director of arts and culture.
Dave is lauding Cox as a phenomenal artist who is acclaimed within the arts community.
But I also think that there's a level of art and culture and history that kind of overlays that paradise, that really adds a level of complexity to who we are. And being a visual artist, being somebody who sees himself as a creative and a platform maker, it just feels like everywhere I work enables me to be able to project and illustrate what my vision is for art and culture.
With over 6,000 pieces, Balmar has the world's largest collection of Bahamian art. It's also the only destination resort in the world with its own art department, led by Cox and a staff of 12. Jiminita Swain for Catching the Feeling.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
My name is Rawiya Hannah Raming, and I am the VP of Legal and Regulatory at Cable Bahamas Limited and Alive. I believe that a key to my success was never being afraid to continue learning and ask questions, particularly for a woman. I think any woman getting into a profession should never be afraid to shine or to show how smart she is. And they should not be afraid to climb and to learn.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
To be the best, world-class athletes depend on Alive to stay connected. We are committed to promoting Bahamian excellence locally and on an international stage. With hundreds of thousands of people depending on us, we must be a strong, fast, and flexible network. With speeds as fast as Joanna and plans as flexible as Donald, there's a plan suitable for everyone starting as low as $1 a day. With our Freedom Plan, choose the way you want to be connected with a 1-day or 7-day Freedom Plan. With our 30-day Liberty Plan, choose the right bundle of talk, text, and data. And for postpaid, we've got Liberty bundles loaded with talk, text, data, and even roaming included. Alive's hard-working network was built for hard-working people. No matter your goal, we have a plan that you can depend on. We are Alive.
Michael, let me borrow your car, please.
Don, I tell you I have to get my car license.
How long I can take, man? Let's go there now.
Why do you need my car so bad?
It's old schoolmate, man. She'll meet up for lunch.
Well, I hope she's taking you somewhere nice because you know we ain't easily impressed.
You can pay for your license and inspections online now. They'll confirm your inspection appointment and bring the decal to your car.
I'm impressed.
Family Island employment looking pretty good, at least based on the request coming into the Department of Labor for workers.
The Sandals Hotel in Exuma needs people to work. Sandals has another property on Fowl Key. They need pay people to work. To the point where they are seeking us to help identify those persons. On the island of Harvey Lutra, the Disney project is about to get started down in Saudi Lutra. They are going to be needing people to work. And so we're working very, very aggressively with these employers to fill these vacant positions. There has been an uptake in demand, even in New Providence, for workers. And in the very, very near future, the government of the Bahamas, through the Department of Labor, will launch a brand new initiative, which you'll be hearing in the very, very near future, on how we could identify persons to fill these multiple vacant positions.
Meantime, the Ministry of Family Island Affairs is establishing help desk to ensure older residents and second homeowners in those communities have access to critical services. The man charged with seeing that through, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, revealed as much during his keynote address to the Eleuthera Business Outlook on Thursday.
A Department of Inland Revenue will be open in Governor's Harbor in a few weeks to ensure that government revenue is collected through real property taxes, business license, and other avenues.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. Right now, we are under partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 77 degrees. The relative humidity, 64%. We have southeast winds at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,016.3 millibars. That's 30.01 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 75s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Grand Toll, Key, and Marshall, Babaco. The Berry Islands also at 75 degrees. Alistair, Bimini, 77, 76 in Harper Island. Rock Sandy, Eleuthera, 78, 77 in Black Point, Exuma. Camp Space on Andros and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. Artistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma, all at 79 degrees, 78 in Ragged Island, Clarence Town, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, 79. Ackland, 79. Matthewtown, Nago, 80 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also have a temperature of 80 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the Northwestern Islands tonight, the winds are going to be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide takes place at 8:03 in the Central and Southeastern Islands. Winds southeast at 10 to 15. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. And as we take you into Saturday through Sunday, the winds become easterly at 10 to 15 knots. That's in the Northwest Bahamas. Wave heights are remaining at 2 to 4 feet. High tide 8:18 in the morning. Low tide at 2:26 in the afternoon. Now for the Central and Southeastern Islands, also Saturday through Sunday, east to southeast winds, they will be increasing 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights building 3 to 6 feet. So we'll post caution flags in the Central and Southeastern Bahamas starting on Saturday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It is time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended forecast is still ahead.
My name is Alicia Poitea, and I've been using the Molfix brand for almost 10 years now. What I love about the Molfix brand is that it is of great quality, and I currently use it on my 2-year-old and my 5-month-old. I haven't had any issues with irritability or rashes or anything of that sort. What I love most about the Molfix brand is that I get value for money, and that to me is awesome.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call?
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
We've got to give women an opportunity to lead as well. In my experience, they've been as competent, they have been as invested in their careers and their families. So I'm extremely excited to be leading this. From a KO Bahamas perspective, that restructuring was driven by the level of competence and excellence that we found in so many of our women leaders in our organization. I'm delighted that we are not only the leader enabling connected lifestyles and experiences, but we also have women at the center of everything that we do in our leadership journey.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everybody. DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns putting away the New Orleans Pelicans 115-109 last night, winning that best of 7. First round Western Conference Series 4-2, advancing to the conference semifinals where they will meet the Dallas Mavericks. DA had 22 points and 7 rebounds in the clincher. Game 1 between the Suns and Mavericks is set for Monday in Phoenix. Also in the Pro Hardwood last night, Aaron Lavarity seeing playoff action in Denmark. The Bahamian posted a double-double, 17 points and 10 rebounds, as Swenborg was able to take a 2-1 series lead in their semifinal series, with Horsens winning 73-72. Game 4 set for Monday. Still in Europe, Rajat Davis finishing up his first pro season with La Roda in the LAB Silver League in Spain, going down to Zornotza in a 2-game sweep during the quarterfinals. Davis had 11 points and 5 rebounds in his final game while averaging 13 points and 5.5 boards for the season. Valerie Nesbitt also closing out her first pro season in Spain with Gran Canaria. They finished just outside the playoff picture in 9th place. Nesbitt averaged 10.2 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds while playing in 29 of her team's 30 games. Young Bahamian student athletes continuing to make their mark in colleges and universities abroad. And tonight, Charles Fisher introduces us to a gentle giant with a bright future ahead.
At 6'8", he may be the country's next triple sport athlete. His name, Ras Jesse Delancey, a sophomore at Benedict College. And in only his first year playing college-level volleyball, he won the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Volleyball Player of the Year.
Very much proud of myself, because those are goals that I had set for myself. Well, also to win the championship, but we fell short there. Just achieving those goals made me realize that I could really do anything that I set my mind to. Even though I'm still new to the game, I mess up, and sometimes I get hard on myself. And my teammates be there to pick me up too, so that with my strong mentality helps me to bounce back from anything.
And he is already looking forward to next season.
I feel like this year was good. My second year, I even hungrier now. You know, I'm already tall, I could jump, I could hit the ball. But my defense, I think it's good, but they could use some more work. That would really complete my game.
But he just might be in the wrong sport. Listen to this as he was approached by the school's track coach.
I was in the fitness center, but that's what they call the gym. So I was working out. He also used to see me in there exercising. But it was one day I was doing box jumps, and he saw me doing it, and he was like, "Hey, you should come do high jump for me." And I laughed the first few times he asked, because I thought he was joking. Until he was like, "I'm serious, you know." And I kept laughing. And then he's like, "I can call your coach." So I said, "Okay, you can call coach." And he ended up calling coach for real. And coach is like, "Sure, it's okay," because their track season championship run started when I was ended, on the day I was ended. So when we got done with volleyball, coach took me to the track meet. And from there, I only had like 2 days of training. So I was watching some videos and whatnot. And when the time came, I just mimicked what I saw the people doing the video.
And mimic he did to a 3rd place finish with no training at all, 6'4" 3/4" his jump. So will basketball be the next to knock on his door?
They have, but I think they figured out from asking me that I'm strictly a volleyball player.
So basketball is not an option. Is there a chance for track?
Once it doesn't interfere with volleyball, yes, but sadly that's the case. I have a love for volleyball. I fell in love with the game.
Our college tennis players also making a name for themselves. Jacoby Bain and Xavier Louisiana have advanced to the NAIA National Tournament. Dante and Brister capturing the Freshman Athlete of the Year at Hampton University Sports Awards. Shatanya Missick from Johnson C. Smith University named to the All-Conference team. Indiana Wesleyan's Joshua Turnquest and Lee University's Sierra Donaldson both recognized on Senior Day, while Sydney Clark won the most matches in singles this season for the Alabama Birmingham Blazers. Bahamians shining on the college track and field circuit as well. Minnesota State sophomore Denisha Cartwright earned her third Conference Track Athlete of the Week award. She leads the NCAA Division II ranks in the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 13.42 seconds and sits 10th nationally in the 100 meters at 11.62. Fellow sophomore Rima Audibur from FIU also earning Conference USA Field Athlete of the Week honors after her performance at the Virginia Challenge. Audibur won the javelin throw with a heave of 180 feet 2 inches and is currently fourth in the NCAA Division I ranks with a season best of 184 feet 6 inches. All Roberts senior Gabrielle Gibson has been named the Summit League Athlete of the Week for the second time this season. At the John Jacobs Invitational, she registered 4 top 5 finishes. Individually, she captured the title in the 100 hurdles, a personal best of 13.28, which ranks 35th nationally. She also clocked a personal best time of 11.75 in the 100 meters to finish second while competing in both the 4x1 and 4x4 relays. 2 other Bahamians also coming off personal best performances. Temple senior Marissa White clocking 53.84 in the 400, while Kentucky's Megan Moss ran the 200 in 23.48. Not to be left out are college baseball players. Senior outfielder Rajan New back in the Kentucky Wildcats lineup after injuring his hand on March 9th. After going 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter last Friday in a loss to Vanderbilt, the graduate student was back in the groove earlier this week in a win over Dayton, going 2 for 3 with 3 runs batted in and a run scored. As for Indiana Tech's Ashton Moxley, he has been named the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference Player of the Week for the first time this season. Moxie helped lead the Warriors to a 6-0 record after hitting .400 with a slugging percentage of 1,000. He had 14 hits, 17 runs batted in, and 3 home runs. That's a look at sports. Check on weather up next.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Hop to your favorite super value and quality supermarkets for great savings, including Robin Hood flour, 5.5 pounds, $4.79. Carnation evaporated milk, 12.7 ounces, 2 for $2.09. Fay bath tissue, jumbo, 6 rolls, $3.99. Fresh pork shoulders, $1.79 per pound. Idaho potatoes, 5-pound bag, $3.49. The specials you'll love are at Super Value and Quality Supermarket.
Hello, I'm Beverly Curry, and in this segment of Ordinary People, you will hear the story of a cancer survivor who is now the producer of Tasty Teas.
Family, friends, colleagues, and well-wishers will bid a final farewell to veteran broadcaster Elva Russell at her homegoing service tomorrow afternoon at Bethel Baptist Church, Meeting Street. It was at that same venue last night that a memorial was held. Many of Russell's colleagues turned lifelong friends reminisced on her invaluable contribution to the broadcast industry.
A lot of young people today can learn so much from her passion, her diligence, and her attention to detail as a producer.
Elva was a woman who believed in mentoring younger men and women, similar to the directives given to the older women in the Book of Tigers. And I was happy to be one of her pupils, privileged to sit at the feet of this distinguished Bahamian woman and receive great pearls of wisdom. For that, Elva, I thank you.
She had your back all the time, every day, no matter through good, so bad.
This care and concern was arguably even more manifested in the great love, patience, and diligence she displayed in her work with Ranfully Home for Children. She not only raised funds for those children, she spent time with them and showered them with her warmth and attention and brought others to share in the joy she experienced in her interaction.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures are showing a weak front boundary near the extreme northwest Bahamas, and that will bring with it some showers and thunderstorms, which will be increasing tomorrow into Sunday. Some of those showers and thunderstorms will be extremely heavy at times, so beware that there will be some wicked weather taking place in the northwest Bahamas starting on Saturday. And I know there is a fishing tournament taking place in Abaco that could have some interruption as a result of those heavy showers and thunderstorms. Elsewhere, high pressure remains in control of our weather with relatively light winds. Forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy conditions, that primarily here in the capital, but in the extreme northwest of Grand Bahama, the Abacos and Bimini's, they can expect some showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight with some brisk winds in place. 71 degrees for your low, and then tomorrow, periods of clouds and sunshine with a high temperature of 82 degrees, and your extended weather forecast, we will see some of those showers and thunderstorms working their way into the capital on Sunday, and that will linger around into Monday. Things clear up a little bit on Tuesday, but by Wednesday, we have the storms return again, particularly in the morning hours. And that's going to do it for our 7-day forecast. Makisha?
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Daniel, he is one of the exiles from Judah. He pays no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you have put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day.
What sort of foolishness is this? Daniel's my chief advisor.
No one is above the law.
Yes, sadly, O king, no one is above the law.
When we met Mark and Alicia last year, they were determined that they would not use lashes or spanking as part of disciplining their 2-year-old son, Cruz.
Well, when I was growing up, lashing was used as a part of discipline. What I found difficult about it was having to hold in the natural, the wanting to cry, right? And then that kind of made me develop some anger issues and things that then I had to deal with later in life, and I didn't want him to have to deal with that. So that was what convinced me not to use lashing.
I've got a special birthday treat for you.
You're not gonna take off your pants, are you?
What? And follow Agent Hardbuns? Let me get my guitar.
Come on, open your presents.
Cards first, it's only polite. Who's this one from?